Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today. Whoo! Here we go. Starfield time, baby. I'm telling y'all, just prepare yourselves. Anytime there's like a little crumb of information that trickles onto my table, I'm eating that up. And then we're talking about it because I am removing the filter now because we did hold back for a while. But after that last update about the Wanderers and how Todd Howard and Emil Pagliarulo, Istvan Pelli, everyone was gathered around talking about what Starfield would be, I'm going to say it. I'm excited. And because I'm excited, I'm going to talk about things that happen with Starfield. Certainly, you'd expect nothing less. We won't get carried away into Fallout 4 territory, but I'm very excited about what we see here today because we have a brand new companion trailer talking about Vasco, our robotic little friend that we saw already in the reveal trailer of Starfield. We did get an extended look at him in that last update I was talking about involving wandering the stars. And also, we have some new information through Emil Pagliarulo, and then a potential window of when we could expect to see Starfield fully unveiled. So it's a jam-packed update here in this video. If you're new here and you're looking for more Starfield information, I kid you not, you are literally in the right place. Fate has brought us together. You and I will experience Starfield goodness together for the entire year and hopefully beyond that with like DLC updates, all that stuff. So consider subscribing with that. Let's talk about this brand new trailer. Now, Bethesda dropped this one exclusively on IGN. I don't know why they did this, but they did. So it's a behind-the-scenes look at Vasco, the new companion that's going to be in Starfield, our robotic little friend, and there's a couple of updates alongside this trailer that I'd like to go through. It features Istvan Pelli, the lead artist for Starfield, where they revealed that Vasco is an expeditionary robot currently in the service of Constellation, the faction that you are working on the behalf of. And it also says that he's an early model built by Lunar Robotics. We're going to hit a timeout right there, okay? We're tracking all these little key names, these brand names, because they're very important for Starfield, right? We're tracking the planet names. Then there are a number of factions that we've been going through. Now we've got where the robotics actually come from here. And I do think that's important to note because a lot of these things will be decorating the world space that you'll be exploring, the companies you'll be interacting with. Some of it, I imagine, will just be pure lore bombs and nothing more, nothing less. But still, something that I wanted to make note of nice and early in the video. There's still more information I'd like to go over with this trailer, such as the bipedal chassis, which was ultimately refurbished to make him the ideal companion for navigating the rough terrain of the new planets and is well suited to the rigors of space travel. It's also said that he's able to carry all the gear a space traveler may need when out in the wilds. So, with all of that in mind, if I were to go into full nasty speculation mode and really just parse through carefully crafted scripts by Bethesda Game Studios for these promotional videos, I would say that they're trying to tell us this man can carry all of your extra loot. That is great to hear. Beyond that, though, they do mention that Vasco is a mostly peaceful robot. However, this man has what is called defense capabilities, which is another way of saying a arm that can turn into a machine gun here, as we can see is depicted inside the concept art here, which we also did get, as you've seen already, a part of this brand new trailer. So my man can loot, carry stuff, and fight, and he's going to be with you the whole way. From what we've seen with the reveal trailer and how everything was introduced to the player, I believe this will be our first companion, like right off the rip, which would be kind of different for a Bethesda Game Studios game, right? If they had this step out moment and you already had a companion, usually you're able to wander for a while. You pick up a quest somewhere and you fall into the companion. Again, full speculation on that, but still a brand new trailer for Vasco, one of hopefully many companions in Starfield. And I'm hoping for a little like HK-47 energy here. He's kind of giving me Sam vibes from Outer Worlds, where he's just like, how can I help you today? It's like, okay, so this is a servant bot for the time being. I'm also interested in learning if Starfield really demands these companions be with you, right? Like in Fallout 4, I always had one with me, more so for the story stuff as you bond with them and they like things you do, like when Piper starts getting all hot and sweaty when I start lockpicking stuff. Let's bond now. That's why I had them along. I wonder how Starfield will navigate those type of things because they are doing a brand new dialogue system. Time will tell. I don't think we have to wait much longer. This year is flying by. It's already April, and I imagine we'll see this game in June, and I'll explain why toward the end of this video. Let's move on to the next thing. Bethesda Game Studios posted their own self-made interview with Emil Pagliarulo, who is design director and writer of Starfield, and I thought some of his answers in particular were illuminating of, again, the mindset Bethesda is at. For those of you who are like me and you're like Bethesda junkies, you absolutely are on the same page as me, where you want to know what their mindset is with this game, because with Fallout 4, with 76, it just felt like they were coasting on namesake, on big brands alone, like, yep, Fallout, another game right here. And of course, Fallout 4 was definitely an inspired effort in different ways, but the way they're talking about Starfield, I've said it a million times, feels very different. And again, that energy is permeating through this interview. So let's read a couple of the answers. I'm not going through the whole thing because a lot of it's just like, hey, Emil, where'd you come from? So let's get started with the first one, which is, what's a normal day in the life of Starfield's lead designer and writer? He says, a normal day making a game like Starfield during a global pandemic, no such thing. The role of any developer can change dramatically depending on the stage of the project. In the early days during pre-production, it was super fun and daunting of coming up with the fictional foundation of a brand new universe, our first new IP in over 20 years. What are the major locations? Who are the major characters? And most importantly, how do these tie into the main story? Now that we're in full production, the majority of my time is spent either meeting with the designers to help guide their work or playtesting the game constantly to gauge our progress and see what might need to be adjusted. You know, our unofficial studio motto is, great games are played, not made. And that means experiencing Starfield the way a player would at every stage of development. We're brutally honest with ourselves about what is and isn't fun, what does and doesn't work, and doing what we need to do so players get the experience they expect and deserve. I think this is to be expected here in 2022, where they are planning to release this game at the end of the year, but there are still a lot of doubters saying that this game will be delayed. I feel pretty confident that this game has been ready for some time now, and the fact that they're playtesting excessively and he's just guiding the vision shows that they have the systems built and they're sort of on their way to the finish line now, and that they're just making sure everything's polished and balanced well. Those are kind of the two key components that Bethesda really needs to get right here in this game compared to their past ones, especially after 76. It's also really important to note that they are continuing to play this game in every stage of development, so these ideas are fully, well, developed, because a lot of ideas when you're making a game sound really good on paper, and you put them in and you go, oh, this doesn't work, this conflicts with that. And a lot of times it's not until it's actually then and there that you learn that type of stuff. It makes it really tough because then you got to put a lot of things in reverse. When you combine that with what he mentioned here of building a whole new universe, the hows and whats of everything, how are houses lit up, what kind of electricity is flowing through this universe, how does communication work, what device do they use, how does that device function? Like, if you care about your world a lot, those little details to have everyone get on the same page need to be answered. And it does help across all departments. Those types of answers that may seem like nothings to the player are how visual and environmental artists design and build the whole world space, because they're able to configure things based off what the lore is. So this is also really important stuff, but we still got a little bit more to chip through. The next one is, how did you get to where you are? He says, I've been in the industry for 25 years at this point, 19 of them at Bethesda, which I do want to talk about in a moment. In that time, I've worn a few hats, created different types of content, but now it all feels like training for Starfield. You can't even begin to make a game like this unless you know what you're getting into. So that experience has really proven invaluable. Okay, first of all, I'm trying my best to get someone formerly or currently at Bethesda Game Studios to sit down for like an interview to talk about their employee retention. This is not common. 19 years at a company. 19. And that's not just an anomaly. Like, plenty of people spend a decade plus at Bethesda Game Studios. And I wanted to do this kind of expose, if you will, on how they managed to keep everyone so happy for so long. What is the vibe there? What is the mindset there? What's the pay structure? Pay time off? Health benefits? I think that's a question that needs to be answered, because a lot of these write-ups from journalists are about, here's why this studio that 5 people don't really like sucks ass, even though there's like 100+ people working here who are fine. Whereas this is a studio that's consistently had this for a while, and no one's been able to provide an answer. So I'm trying to do that for y'all. I don't know when it will happen, but I'm trying. With that in mind, on the Starfield side of things here, I like how this sort of has this pseudo, I don't want to put the term on it yet, because I sort of feel like Elder Scrolls 6 would be that, but this sort of, the way Emil's talking about it reminds me of the magnum opus conversation we've had a lot with Elden Ring, right? Where everything that Elden Ring is was made from everything before it. Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Sekiro, Bloodborne. You see pieces of all these games inside of Elden Ring. And it felt like all those games are training for Elden Ring to go bigger and better than ever before, as far as I'm concerned. And then you hear him say something like this, where all these games, Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout 3, Morrowind, so on and so forth, all felt like training for this game here. And if you really imagine what a lot of people are thinking Starfield will be, with its space traversal, with its shooting similar to Fallout 4, with its background stories similar to something like Morrowind, you look at the pieces that Bethesda's slowly potentially laying out here and what Emil's saying, and you can start to get that potential magnum opus vibe. Obviously, we will not know until we play the game, but I like the idea of this taking a lot of elements from Bethesda's past works and sort of throwing them all together into a brand new vision. That truly does excite me. The last one I wanted to talk about is, what does Starfield mean to Emil? He says, saying you're going to create the studio's first new IP in 20 years is one thing. Actually pulling that off, that's a different story. It's been so awe-inspiring watching Starfield morph into this amazing game little by little, and with us covering so much new ground. There comes a point when you're working on a game and it's just kind of a mess, especially early on, because newsflash, that's what game development is. But then you get to that point where the systems really start to come online and things start to work well and gel, and you see everything forming into the vision you had when you first started on this crazy journey. When that first happened with Starfield, and it was really an, oh wow, yeah, this is something really special. Players are going to lose their minds. Now we just have to finish it. This would explain the wait for Starfield, and this would also, again, I keep hitting home on this, this would explain why the rumor was late last year for a while, and suddenly it was not ever going to happen, when I feel very, very confident. Not trying to say like I was not wrong here. I admitted I was wrong, because I was saying for a while I was beating the 2021 drum. That ended up not being the case. But the consistent testing, the fact that years ago it was playable from start to finish, and the way that they're like, yes, now everything has come together and we just got to finish it at this point. And this was written at the beginning of this year. Like, they are in such a good spot, I feel, with this game. That's my vibe from it, because they're talking about it. Silence is a killer in this industry. If you're not talking, you're hiding. That's always been the case here. So the fact that Bethesda's been talking since late last year, hello, I feel like this game has been ready for a while to go, and they are making sure it's squeaky clean, which they should. After 76, I respect and understand the cautionary approach. Okay, so now that we've talked a lot about what Starfield is in the news realm, we talk about where we may see it. I know when a lot of people see my videos on it, they see a brand new trailer for Starfield, you look at it and go, I just want gameplay, man. And Bethesda clearly knows what they're doing here, right? They have a particular time frame in mind. They're keeping this game in the minds of people, and they're also playing with their impatience, right? Myself included, of just dying to see it. So when people do see it, there will be an explosion across the internet of hype, adrenaline, excitement, analysis, and certainly I will be on top of all of that. But when and where? Well, Todd Howard already said late last year that they would like to show this game off in June, sometime around E3. Obviously now E3 has, unsurprisingly, sadly too, been canceled. That was, to me, pretty clear that it was going to happen when late last year they tried to blame the pandemic and mask mandates as why they weren't going to do that, when PAX was throwing it together saying, hey, you just got to be vaccinated, wear a mask, and you can come on in. And so when they were doing that at the same time as PAX East doing something different, I was like, yeah, E3's full of crap. They're not going to show up. They're going to cancel it. And they haven't even done a digital showcase now. And they're planning on doing something in 2023. So a lot of people went, well, what's next? Jeff Keighley steps in. He knows what he's doing. He's like, Summer Games Fest will return on literally the same week, stepping on E3's throat at this point in time. And we know Xbox loves Jeff Keighley, right? They use his platform at the Game Awards. They've used the Summer Games Fest. Hell, they promoted Halo Infinite on his own show before their own personal showcase at Gamescom. That says so much to me about what they think of Jeff Keighley. So without a shadow of a doubt, they will be here during this Summer Games Fest. This is a time that's very important for Xbox, because right now we're at the beginning of what I would consider is a new era for them. Finally, the new stuff's going to start to come out. The Redfalls, the Starfields, the Hellblades, hopefully the Avoweds, the Fables. Finally, we can start to imagine what this new era of Xbox will look like. We've seen Forza, we've seen Halo, Psychonauts, we've seen these types of things, Age of Empires, for a while, and we've expected them. And for some people, they didn't feel as special because they weren't really unique to the Xbox ecosystem, like a Psychonauts. And of course, the indie ones they were investing in, like, say, the Ascent, were there and gone in a heartbeat. So what people have been looking for is this new era. I think summer showcase timing is a good moment for that. And if Jeff is throwing one together, I really would say expect Starfield to be at the forefront of this whenever it is announced by Xbox that they're doing one. And this will, without a shadow of a doubt, be around June timing. If you look at the last schedule for 2021 with Summer Games Fest, June is where it all started. I feel like Xbox will be there again to do their own showcase. And I can't wait to see it because there's a lot of exciting stuff on the table for them. And especially now with a huge drought, I can only cross my fingers that they will come out swinging here. I don't want to get lost in the hype of it all, but I feel like that's what they need to do. So time will tell, but that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of this Starfield news update. So I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you're thinking of all this brand new information and speculation in the comments down below. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.